One set up or signed up to speak for public comments. So I want to welcome everybody to the January Animal Services Advisory Board meeting. Do we want to wait to see if anyone else shows? Brenda's not here. I know Donna's not coming.
Right.
Renisha's not coming.
Yeah, Renisha's sick.
We can't vote on anything, I need one more person.
Right. Do we have anything to vote on? I don't think we do.
Just accepting the minutes from next month, from last month, that's it.
Right.
So, do we have to wait till the next meeting to wait up quorum?
Well,
To accept the meeting?
To accept the minutes, yeah.
Can they wait until
Here
next
comes
time?
Brenda.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh, good, Brenda's here.
Alright, that's all. Are you?
Okay, so anyone who came in a minute ago that wants to speak from the floor hasn't signed up? As for new business, we'll go on to that. We need to approve the minutes for December. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? Are there any questions or changes?
Sorry.
Can I get a motion to accept the minutes as they are?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Minutes have been approved. Next, we're gonna go to our subcommittee updates. Ms. Beverly, do you have something for us?
I do, I got two different things. So first I'll start with community cat since that's on the list. So we have a community cat meeting and the first one of 2019 scheduled most likely for mid-February, February 18th. I think for this year, I'd like to kind of focus the group on two overarching goals, both of which I talked about to Jorge. One is looking for funding for GNR to help community cat caretakers pay for spay neuter, to get it done for ideally free. And secondly, looking at language in ordinances of both Guilford County and comparing it to some other counties where it seems like animal control officers are more able to participate fully in GNR. That's been a bit of a restriction here, so we're going to kind of focus on ordinance language and funding, kind of big picture goals. And that's on tap for community cats. I learned just over the past few days with some emails with Dr. Linda East, who does a lot of spay neuters, that we basically have two people trapping feral cats full-time in this county on a volunteer basis. They're not getting paid, but we have two people that are really doing a lot of TNR. I don't mean trapping and putting them in the shelter, I mean trapping, getting them spayed and neutered, and returning them. So she does a lot of work with them and helps a lot with spay neuter there. So this is great that we have people that are, I mean, both of these people actually have jobs. They are really doing a lot. So we're lucky to have that. Okay, so that's community cats. The second thing is related to the Pet Responsibility Program flyers. So let me just pass this out to everybody. This is the revised version that we talked about last time. And I just wanted to get folks' opinion pretty much on one sentence on it, although comments on any part are welcome. And Ruby, Resco, and Allison, and Ruby's husband Chris are sitting there, done a lot of work on this. Yes, sorry. All right, so, and this is something that I was speaking with Carl. Carl actually envisions a flyer like this, or this very one, even going into packets at social services for individuals who are pet owners, because it really lists a lot of the lower cost options in the community for animal care of many different kinds, not just spay neuter. Okay, if you flip to the page where there's most of the writing, not the chart on the back, you can see under the heading financial assistance for veterinary care. Okay, so we have 4 funds listed there, but in the very top introductory paragraph, it says, in some cases, the most humane decision may be to surrender a suffering pet to an animal shelter or rescue group, where it can be evaluated for adoption and receive medical attention. Okay, so that's the one place that the shelter, Guilford County Shelter, is listed as a potential option if people need it, if, you know, they can't find any other way to take care of their pet that they no longer can care for. So the question is, for Jorge primarily and for the group, we were having a discussion amongst ourselves, where it can be evaluated for adoption and receive medical attention. Do we want to put a phrase at the end there that says something like, you know, or potentially be euthanized? Do we want people to know that there's no guarantees at the shelter, it's not necessarily going to receive medical care and go up for adoption? It could be euthanized depending on the state of the animal. Do we want to put that in print here, or prefer not?
I don't think so. This is a resource
Okay.
sheet, not a, you
Education.
haven't taken care of them, so we're gonna put them to sleep. So, because that's what it's gonna sound like.
Okay. Okay.
The one thing that you could add, one word that you could add that would kind of go both ways is, where'd it go? Shelter or rescue group where it could be evaluated for possible adoption.
Yeah, that's what
So-
I'm looking at it, because it sounds like it's gonna get adopted and
Yeah.
receive medical care.
Okay,
So this,
can be evaluated for
for possible,
Okay,
Or potential.
or potential,
Potential.
okay.
either
That's
one. That way, it's kind of like, well, we're gonna evaluate it, see, it kind of gives them the option of, well, it may or may not.
Okay, that's good, thank you. And I know that,
And I don't know, when you are reading this, does this sound like the pet's gonna receive medical attention and then I can get my pet back?
that's a question I had, and, we don't wanna convey that, obviously, we don't wanna make out the shelter to be just another version of a low-cost clinic. But it does say to surrender. We did change the word surrender rather than take your pet. So the word surrender is there, but is that clear enough?
I just like where it says, an animal shelter in Guilford County is the only one listed. Because we're the only ones gonna be listed, it should say to the animal shelter, not that I want that, change that word. But
So, I'm sorry, what are you saying?
suffering pet to an animal shelter, so any animal shelter. So
To an-
Guilford County is the only one listed.
Right, because this is gonna be given out in Guilford County.
I'm-
But do you want us to change that?
I don't know, I need to read over it, it's like in 2 minutes, I'm not gonna be
Yeah,
able to
yeah.
write.
So, yeah, so everyone take it, and let's say like within the next 2 weeks or so, if you have suggestions, just email them to me and I'll pass them on to,
But I think this goes back to the conversation we had in the last meeting, Brenda, where we have some organizations out in the community as well, is when we're saying to an animal shelter and we're handing this out, are they gonna call Brenda and saying, oh, well, I got this flyer that says I'm receiving medical attention, even though it has Guilford County Animal Services on here as a phone number? But how is this gonna affect others too? So kind of getting your feedback too on how you see this is important as well, so.
Can I say, I really like the way it reads for the veterinary assistants in the back, that's much, much better.
I remember your commentary and, I appreciated hearing.
Thank you. That's gonna be great for me when I'm out in the field.
Good.
I'd like to have time to digest it.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can we say like maybe do you wanna set a timeline?
Whenever you guys are ready, it's fine.
How about by the next meeting? Is that okay? So keep this and come back with comments and then we'll finalize it at some point soon after that. Okay. It's pretty full, so we can't fit too much more on it, so hopefully no suggestions for a lot more stuff, but yeah. Okay, well, thanks to, the pet responsibility people. Clarissa, I guess, is not here tonight, right? Yeah, she did a lot of work on it too. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Carl, you have anything you'd like to add?
No, other than I think that, the work that the focus that Beth has for this next year is important. important, and I think it's a good chance to make some, real progress both in the community CAD issue, but also in the efforts to continue to find ways to reach folks in the community that can use our help. So, thank you for that.
Okay, so now we're gonna move to the animal services updates.
So for, I was hoping that I would have 2018 recap and a nice presentation, so Carl and I have been working on that data, so for February's meeting, we'll have a much more formal presentation and on what our numbers look like through 2018. So I'll recap the month of December and then just some highlights from 2018, and then go back, and hopefully by February, we can do a formal presentation on what those numbers look like. Animal control, we had 916 calls or incident responses in the month of December. 57 of them were for animal bites, 4 of them were for animal abandonment, 17 of them were for animal attacks, and 3 of them were for cruelty cases. Everything else is just your running at large, animal welfare checks, checking on traps, things like that. Today's inventory at the shelter, as we speak, we have 205 adult dogs, 20 canines under the age of 5 months, 83 adult cats, and 23 felines under the age of 5 months. 25 of those adult dogs currently are heartworm positive. In December 2018, we had 288 intakes. 153 of them were strays. 61 of them were owner surrenders. We had 231 live outcomes, positive outcomes. 180 of them were adoptions. 23 of them were returned to owner. 20 of them were transfers to our adoption partners. We had 41 euthanasias in the month of December, and 15 owner request euthanasias. So overall for 2018, again, these are just rough numbers right now. We'll have these all nicely polished for the next meeting in February. We had 6,647 intakes. 4,580 of them were strays. 1,093 of them were owner surrenders. 5,313 were positive outcomes. 3,585 of those 5,000 and some change were adopted. 768 were returned to owner. 837 were transferred to adoption partners. Out of the 6,647 intakes, we had 1,160 of them euthanized and 196 owner request euthanasias. So we started our population January 1st, 2018 with 376 animals in the shelter. At December 31st, 2018, we had 242 animals in the shelter.
So if those owner request euthanasia, those were all, you're talking about all euthanized?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the final outcome were euthanasia for owner request.
Yeah, if I could, let me add just a couple of things to that. We're going to have a complete review. We're going to take an historical view in February 2016, 17, and 18. And I think that the community can point to a lot of positive things in that data. We just don't have all that together yet, and we'll make sure we have absolutely accurate information so we portray the right story. But it is a good story, and I urge you to look forward to the February meeting and to see the progress that actually has been made in Guilford County over the last